Good morning, children, and what a beautiful morning it is. It's supposed to snow later. Way excited about that. Today we're going to talk about the books I've gotten so far in January, including my Christmas haul that I forgot to show. So without further ado, let's start with Christmas. First book I got and already read for Christmas was from our book club, Secret Santa, and I got Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. This is a book about a girl who gets possessed, and it's her family dealing with it. The way it's played out is that she could be possessed or she could have schizophrenia. It takes place in the modern day, so of course a reality show is made of it, which is a really cool situation. I never even thought of being a premise for a book, so horror reality show sounds like a lot of fun. Of course, it would not be Christmas unless I got a copy of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. This is a Books A Million edition of it, where it has character bios in the front, illustrated ones. They're super cool. I was really excited to add this to my now 25 copies of Wuthering Heights. So next one I got was Welcome to the Night Vale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. This is the novelization of the podcast that parodies a radio show that takes place in the fictional Night Vale, where crazy sci-fi things constantly happen. Next, I got Carrie Fisher's Postcards from the Edge, which is one I've been dying to read because I've read all of her biographies and never any of her fiction. So I absolutely adore her writing style, so I was really excited to get this one. Next two come from a co-worker and cousin that I love more than anything. That is Bird Box by Joseph Malerman, which they just made into a Netflix film I haven't seen yet. I did finish the book though. It was very suspenseful. I heard the show wasn't that good, which I can kind of understand because though it makes a really cool book, I don't see how well it could translate to film when you rely on not seeing anything. I feel like the whole thing is probably just zoomed in versions of people's faces, so I don't know. I'll have to give that one a shot. Next was Washington Black by Essie Edugwin, which is a really delightful sounding book dealing with a slave child. It's pre-Civil War, and his master is an inventor, and they work together to make fun things. I hear it has a lot of fantasy in it, and he is hoping to become free from it. This is one I plan on reading really soon. Next two gifts were antiques, and I could not be more grateful for them. And that is the 1943 Random House printings of Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre by the Bronte sisters, and they are absolutely gorgeous. These are editions I have been wanting for years. I literally had this one right here as a background on my phone for so long because that was just a goal. Lastly, for the Christmas presents, and most importantly, honestly, is a book, the first and only book ever written just for me. We had a Secret Santa at work, and one of my coworkers got me Happy Mind, Happy Life by Veronica Baker. This is a book that was written for me in response to my constant ramblings about scurvy after reading The Terror. So my coworker Veronica wrote me a book about scurvy to tell me all sorts of fun new scurvy facts I did not know before. I have to eat cranberries to keep them away. I kept saying oranges, but it is very beautifully written and incredibly informative on scurvy, and also has some comedy, some memes, and even some room in the back to continue writing about other horrific diseases. Coming to bookstores near you soon. Happy Mind, Happy Life. Thank you, Veronica. So next I bought a graphic novel, which is actually based on a book that came out whenever I was like in junior high, and that is Speak by Laurie Halsey Anderson, interpreted by Emily Carroll, who has actually done several graphic novels. I really love her style. She has a very dramatic way of drawing. This is actually a book that I read back in junior high that I really loved. I just want to see how well the story holds up over the years, and at its time it was very important and a very groundbreaking thing, so I was really glad to see it being revamped. I'm excited to reread this one. Next one is a series I never really planned on buying or reading. I don't even know why, because I don't know. That's the Magicians trilogy. I was actually lucky enough to get a nice collection. Actually really cool, and that consists of The Magicians, The Magician King, and The Magician's Land. It also comes with several tarot cards that I thought was really cool. I have no idea what they mean yet or what they're in reference to, but I'm excited to find out. This is a book series that, I don't know, I kind of haven't read because I just heard it was basically Harry Potter where everyone is Slytherin and they're all having sex. I have nothing against such plots, but I just thought it sounded kind of fanficky. But I do hear, especially from kind of seeing things from the show, that it branches out quite a bit, so it's one I definitely plan on reading now. Alright, next two books I got are movie cover books, but they were the only way I could find them, and they're actually ones I've been wanting to read for a while, and those were Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman, and I honestly have no idea what this one is about other than it being a love story between two boys, and I've been dying to see the movie, so I definitely need to read it beforehand. I'm thinking about saving this one for February because I'm going to try to be a bit more romance heavy. Next one is one I'm way excited to read, especially because I am reading a Cormac McCarthy book sometime this year, and that's The Road, but I also want to read No Country for Old Men, which is one of my favorite movies, has one of my favorite villains ever. Not just because I have a crush on Javier Bardem, it is just about the most psychotic villain, and it kind of plays on the old-fashioned roles of good guy cowboy, bad guy cowboy, and it really blends these things, and it's a very good modern day Western that I'm way excited to read. The next two books I got just for the authors. First one, The Hag's Seed by Margaret Atwood, which I honestly have no idea what it's about. I just saw Margaret Atwood and threw it in my pile of books to read. She, of course, wrote The Handmaid's Tale, which is awesome, so I'm excited to read anything more by her. I also have The Blind Assassin somewhere, and that's another one I'm going to try to read this year because I really just want to read more of her stuff. And the second one was Mirror Image by Michael Scott. See, I said I got this for the author, but I just saw Michael Scott and just, I don't know. I know it wasn't actual Michael Scott from The Office, but I just had to pick it up anyways and read it. I know he actually writes some YA, some middle grade stuff, and this is an adult one. It's a horror book written by him and Melanie Ruth Rose, who I haven't heard about. But this is actually a horror story surrounding a mirror, which I thought was a really cool premise. Apparently there's someone trapped in it, there's a curse, which I know this premise has been done before, but I still think it's a really cool premise, taking everyday like household objects and making you freaked out by them. So I'm excited to read this and not look at myself in a mirror for like a month. Next one is one I've been so excited about to read for a while, and that is Legion by Brandon Sanderson, which is Brandon Sanderson tackling thriller novels. Though I'm used to his amazing fantasy, I'm really excited to see this. This is about a guy with multiple personality disorder. It's a shorter book by his standards, and I'm just way excited to get into this. He's amazing with characters. It's gonna be weird not seeing a magic system in one of his things to like rave about, but I'm way excited for this one. And last but certainly not least was my book of the month, book club choice of book of the month, choice book of the month. That was Yangzi Chu's The Night Tiger. It is a historical fiction about a woman in 1930s China who wants to be a doctor, which is kind of unheard of for that time period because sexism sucks. And she comes across or is somehow connected to another character, a boy who is looking for a dead man's finger, because in their religion the entire body has to be buried before they can be put to rest. I saw there may be some hints of like magical realism, maybe. I'm not sure, we'll hear more on that later, obviously. So I'm really excited to read this one. See, this is not me showing you like 50 books at once because I'm controlling myself. It's my New Year's resolution. I need to read more than I buy. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be so hard, but that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, can't wait to see you guys next. I'll probably have some more reviews coming your way. Hope you all have a good week. Later, taters.